to slam about something that is tougher than steel, stickier than glue, and more romantic than roses. Michael Morari, everyone.
I saw a man being bitten by a spider. I was just 10 years old, and this event had a profound influence on my young life. I was both amazed and terrified by this awesome and deadly power of nature, and it's what motivated me to study biology. I spent all the time I could reading about the scorpion, the lizard, the octopus. I also read about the rhino, the vulture, and the black cat. But above all, I read about the spider, and I was fascinated by the webs he weaves and shoots from his hands, and how he swings through the streets of New York. And that's why I'm here today to tell you about the one and only, the spectacular spider silk. Before we start, let's define what is a spider. So let's go through the scientific classification of a spider together. This is a spider. This is not a spider. This is a spider. This is not a spider. So clearly, the defining characteristic is spiders have 8 legs. There are also other characteristics that define spiders. Their body is segmented into a cephalothorax and an abdomen. They have chelicera, which are their fangs, and pedipalps, which are those little baby arms next to their mouth. But the most defining characteristic of the spider is their spinneret. This is the business end of the spider. That's where the web comes out. So let's take a closer look at this. Ooh, maybe not that close. That's better. The spinneret is a gland. It's like a sweat gland in our bodies, or a milk gland. And the spider secretes the web out of that gland. The best way is just to show you how the spider does this. So, you know how Spider-Man, he shoots his web through the air quite impressively, like from his wrist. Well, the spider does it a little differently. This is how the spider do. Yeah, it's not the same. But although the method of delivery is a bit more impressive for Spider-Man, the material itself is just as remarkable in real life. So let's take a look at what makes the silk so spectacular. This here is the golden orb weaver spider. It's one of the most studied spiders because its silk is the strongest that we've discovered. Now this web right here can withstand the impact of a hummingbird flying into it. Or if you had a strand of this silk as thick as a pencil, you could stop a fighter jet from landing. It's that strong. Now, how does it do that? Well, let's look into the chemistry just a little bit. Now, spider silk is made up of proteins. And proteins, as many of you know, I'm sure, consist of chains of amino acids. Now, in the protein sequence, each amino acid is represented by a single letter. Now, in this sequence, this is from the actual golden orb weaver spider sequence. Let's look at the gaga part there at the end. Now, the G stands for glycine, the A stands for alanine, and the interactions of those two amino acids lead to these incredible properties, that this chain folds into betta strands, and those in turn fold into betta sheets, and they interact to make it incredibly durable. Imagine it like a deck of cards. Each card is a betta strand, and all of them together form a betta sheet. And the interactions between them, imagine as a drop of glue between each of these cards. Now, it's quite stable, right? It's durable. But if a force is applied in a direction, then the deck can extend that way while still remaining stable. Now, in spider silk, imagine hundreds and thousands of these betta sheets working together. And that's how you get these properties. That's how you get this incredible toughness. Now, toughness, that's a combination of tensile strength and extensibility. That's so far you can stretch it without it breaking. And for spider silk, that's up to 10 tons per square centimeter, or you can even stretch strands of silk 300% their length without it breaking. The toughness is greater than Kevlar. That's what you make bulletproof vests out of. It's really a unique material. And the spider has used this to dominate all 4 elements. So let's go through and see how the spider does that. Earth. The mesotele spider. This little lady is ancient. We found fossils that are over 300 million years old of this spider, and it dominates the earth by digging a hole. Well, okay. But what it does with its silk is it builds a door. I've never built a door. It builds a door out of spider silk. And it has these tripwires next to it, so when a bug walks by it, it feels the vibration. The spider feels those vibrations, pounces out, grabs it, closes the door. Where's the spider? There it is. The spider has also dominated air. When this baby spider is tired and wants to leave home, it climbs up to the top of a plant and lets a thread of spider silk fly out of its spinneret, and that's caught by a gust of wind, and this spider flies through the air like a kite. This spider can fly. Water. The European water spider. This spider makes a net and captures air bubbles, which it takes under the surface of the water and wears like a scuba suit. It builds its nest underwater, and it raises its babies there. Nowhere is safe. And finally, the spider has dominated the most dangerous element of all, love. The nursery web spider makes little gifts, wraps them up, bugs, in beautiful spider silk packages, and presents them to the female. And if she likes it, they get to have sex. And if she doesn't, she gets to eat him. Love, or wait, no, that's lunch, and that's... No. That one was love, and that one was lunch. I'm pretty sure. So, like every romantic story needs a love song, every slammer needs a best friend with a guitar. So, let's put it into song. Spider silk, it consists of a protein milk, high tensile strength and little mass. It comes out of a spider's spinneret. Hey now, you know about spider silk. Hit it! Spiders here, spiders there. Spiders live nearly everywhere. In the sky or underground. Underwater, they don't drown. Look out! Spiders are in your hair. There's no need for dread. Just stay cool, keep it real. Give her sacks of web. Be her mate, not her meal. Science slam, science slam. Hope you learn from my spider jam. Enjoy the rest of your time here. When it's done, let's grab a beer, won't you? Vote for my science slam. they say in German, grusig, aber geil.
Like, you're gonna be the responsible for me not sleeping for the next 5 nights, basically.
Yeah, maybe we should have built in a trigger warning.
Yeah. So, you are a Spider-Man fan. Can you point out anything that is scientifically incorrect in the comics?
Let's see, about Spider-Man. The fact that he can climb up walls, the reason spiders can do that is, based on their small mass. That's how that physics work. But a body as big as Spider-Man, just with his fingertips of surface, couldn't really stick.
Did you try?
I've dreamed of it.
Okay. It says here that you're also an Austrian. Like, how international can you get? Why are you also an Austrian?
Well, I'm a citizen of the world. Modern. We're all part of multiple places. We're connected based on our heritage, based on where we live, based on where we grew up, where our friends are. Home is where the heart is.
What if you don't have a heart?
Well, you sound like a spider.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you also have blue blood? Spiders have blue blood. It's freaky.
I don't know. We have to try, I guess. Okay, so question session. I think, can a spider run out of its silk is a good question.
Well, it's a gland, and it's produced in the spider's body. So, just like can you run out of sweat, can you run out of producing milk? You need the energy to produce those building blocks of the proteins. So, you can run out, but if you eat something, you'll regenerate.
Okay. So you can choose your next question if you want to. Wow, this thing's moving around pretty fast.
Is there a cute spider? Yes. Most of them that you saw, but there's also a spider that has a special mating ritual. It's this tiny jumping spider. And this is what it does to attract females. This is really what it does. Look it up. Look up that mating dance. It's hilarious. And it's tiny, so it's the cutest thing.
Oh, that is so cute.